I'm live anyway, so tough. One of you speak.
Hello.
Oh,
There we go, it works. Right, cool. I'll do. I've had a week off. It's been great. Welcome back. We're going to be playing DnD5e. This is our 30th session of When Glory Is Not Enough. Woo! For those of you that saw me at LARPCon this weekend, representing Forsaken Lands, thank you very much. It was lovely speaking to you, and I hope you're having a wonderful time. Right, how do we do this? How do I want to do this? How did I not think of that? Social media. If you follow the Linktree link that will appear, boom, look at that, as if by magic. You can go follow, we're everywhere. We're in YouTube where we've got 1,063 hours of story time. Just go check it out. There's loads of D&D in there. There's Pathfinder in there. There's Vampire in there. There's some other one-shots are in there, like Masks and a couple of others. Really cool. Just go check it out. Or just put it on in the background while you're doing your work. Some cool stuff in there. It's mostly my voice trying to be every flavour of Yorkshire under the sun. And these lot. We're on YouTube, we're on Discord, we've got a Discord, so go find that. We're on, we've got the Instagrams, and we've got the Facebooks, and the Twitters. Are we on what else? We've got Spotify, go check us out on Spotify. You can get the, what them things that you call, that you listen to while you're driving, podcasty type flavour of the story. Yes! Just go check it out, we're brilliant at what we do, you should listen to us more. Sponsors. We are sponsored by Sirenscape. Are you okay, Rebecca?
I just want to put kettle on.
You want to put the kettle on?
Yeah, but I'll wait till you finish your spiel.
So they can hear it while I'm not talking. I like it.
You can pause it. You can mute it.
Pause it. I'll just... Everyone stop moving.
I'll mute you.
They're all paused, love. Live TV.
No, I'll put my hands in there.
Same here.
I didn't shout freeze. Pause. Sirenscape. They're really good at doing a kettle noise. No? At sound sets and getting your ambience going. So if you are fighting a dragon, they're in the background and all that good stuff. Fireballs going off, and mountainsides, and storms happening, you're at sea, you're in a cave, there's magical stuff, and you kill a kobold. You can get all that on Sirenscape and listen to it through the ambience of tech. If you sat around a table, I hate you, but well done you sat around a table. If you're playing digitally like we do, one of you can play it and share the link with your compadres, and they will be able to listen to it and have just as much fun as you are while they hear the deathly roars of a dragon high in the skies. So please check out Sirenscape, they are amazing. Coyote Grey. When you see our Roll20, or soon move into Foundry, you will get to see chibi tokens. I'm very fond of chibi art. And Coyote Grey, if you check out the marketplace on Roll20 and type in Coyote Grey, you'll get to see all the chibi tokens and packs that he's put together. They're super cool. I fell in love with them as soon as I seen them. Amazing. And did the custom characters for the Tuesday campaign we run, so Fables of Long Time. So check out Coyote Grey if you're into chibi artwork and you want loads of little cool tokens. Loki battle mats. Legends among the battle mat makers. That was a mouthful. Get on a t-shirt. Go check them out on Drive-Thru RPG. Go check out their website. Check them out on Kickstarter. They're always on there, and they're always on there because everyone they run immediately funded. So they do another one immediately funded because they're brilliant at what they produce. Great maps on big like A3 flip out books. Again, if you're around a table, you can throw them out on there, and you will happen to find the ambience you need in Sirenscape to go along with your map. So check them out, please check them out. They're really good at what they do. And why do I not put Sparky's fucking logo on the Monday stream? I'll sort that out. It's incoming, Sparky. It's incoming. So go check out Loki Battle Mats. If you do play it, again, digitally, go to Drive-Thru RPG. You can buy all the stuff they do physically is pretty much on there. And you can, again, put it onto your VTT as you see fit. Sparky. Right. Stand by. Sparky is a recent addition to our lovely... Have I got one in here? No, I don't. So we're going to add you, Sparky, on the fly, because nobody wants to watch us play D&D. Instead... I'm going to add your little logo right now. Watch this. When I find it. Sparky. Boom. Sparky. Boom. Look at that. There you go. Sparky. There you go. Sparky & Co. Miniature. Follow the Etsy link. Go check out all the miniatures he prints. They're super beautiful. Yeah? Super beautiful. Sparky's and he's a Liverpool fan, which to you folk that don't like football, you won't understand, but he's a beast. I love him. He's a really good lad, and I'm really happy that he gave us the opportunity to be sponsored by Sparky. And if you use the code HEAVY, because you want loads and loads of miniatures around your table and you use the code HEAVY, you'll get a 12% discount. Because 12 is the best number in D&D. If you can work it out, you might get an extra bit. Do you feel sorry for the adventurers? Monkey Face, donate 200 bits / cheers to give the party a reroll. They cannot be used on the DM or death saving throws, and they do not roll over to the following week. Is this heating still on, love? Never sit next to a radiator when you're streaming, kids. It's dangerous. So go. If you want to throw 200 bits at this lot, they get a reroll. If you are a true hero of the TTRPG world, you will donate 500 bits to the Dungeon Master, who will fail miserably at ruining their high rolls and give them even higher rolls. But waves but no sound. Oh, that's got off. I had to check my mixer then. Hey, Pash. That's bits. That's all the good stuff. The Sparky, Fanky, the lucky sponsors. Bits. Charity stream. Every year. Every single year. We run a charity stream. It's for a couple of days, usually. We play D&D or computer games or whatever we're doing. We get a load of nerds together. We get a couple of charities and we try and raise a few quid for them. In the last few years, we've done about £8,000, which is ridiculous. It's amazing, and it makes me super proud to be a nerd and have fellow nerds around me that are willing to do such things. We tried a marathon, but only Eddie ran it. The date this year is the 24th to the 28th of July. So instead of just doing a 24-hour charity stream, or even a 49-hour stream, you know what I mean, which will never be done again, we're going to do a 5-day stream, which sounds ridiculous, I know, but I cheated. We're going to do 12 hours a day. So it'll be 60 hours this stream, and it'll be a continuation of this lot's campaign, or a new campaign, but it'll still be this lot. Either way, these lot's muggins will be on a stream 24th to 28th of July, noon till midnight, Monday to Friday, in the school holidays. Yeah, if you've got kids, get ready. Right, you want to be watching this. It's going to be amazing. We've got lots of prizes to give away. Some candles, some dice, some gift vouchers, some minis, some... What else we got? Maps, some...
Axe throwing,
escape rooms, hairstyling by Heavy, you know what I mean? It's going to be a very short video. But yeah.
Potentially a one shot for you and your friends.
Take my heads off. Oh, Kel's Corner. I can show you these. Where are they? So these just came through. Kel's Corner is another one that's going in the charity stream. I'll get to the game in a sec. I don't know if you'll be able to see these. And I just broke it.
You didn't. It's fine.
That's okay. You see the fishy ball?
No, you need to take your back thing off.
or just hold it in front of you.
Do this.
Oh, yeah, that works.
Hey, better.
It looks like Mysterio.
Upside down Mysterio. Can you see that? I don't know if the light's pinging off it, but there's cool, creepy little scenes in these glass balls and stuff. We will post things to socials, all that good stuff. So Kel's Corner has joined the fray, and she'll be doing loads of stuff. Follow the links, give us all your money. If you don't have any money, steal and give us all that money. Because if you steal it and give it away, you'll be remembered forever for shooting a bow really well and a green hat. We done.
I will dry your butt as well if you win.
Oh yeah, and you can win a one-shot with your friends. We might take that one off the list. We are looking to give away a one-shot with the Dice of the Older Dungeon Master Ricardo and myself, Heavy. So that's 2 one-shots. Yeah, that's right, Rich. Throw me under the bus. You're coming with me.
Wait, what?
I was going to offer a second one.
You was going to offer. But yeah, so we're going to sort out some cool one-shots for you and your friends, assuming you win. Throw £5 in, your name goes in the hat. More £5 means more names in hat. Right. Is that done, Hannah? Am I finished? Cool, we'll go with that.
I think that's everything.
I'm going to play my RuneScape music now.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Doesn't taste right, does it, love?
Not me going through the commands list.
£5. If you donate £5, you get your name in the hat for a prize you want. Yeah, but if you donate like
That
20
doesn't
quid,
taste right?
you can get 4. Or you can just donate for the sake of donating. Like, feel free to just give us your money.
If they donate, if they're in for the raffle.
Trying to play D&D here, love.
You need to tell
me.
them.
How do I?
When they put in for a prize, they need to put which prize.
They know. They're grown-ups. Some of them.
I'm going to say
Hannah will deal with instructions. I just shout loud. All right. They all died. Yeah. Now me and Alice have had our domestic. They all died. A one shot with you.
We died a bit.
No, you didn't. You really died. You really committed to the whole Romeo and Juliet. Here's a poison. It will kill you. Cool. Shots all round. You went into Stonheim.
And do you know what? I trust those shots a lot more than I trust roulette.
Roulette did well for you, lot. It's only the alky in the party that I'd have any issues with it. Uli says hello, Becky. Uli. The
Real life Arky or a game Arky.
You have escaped from Stonheim, the purgatory of sorts of Costo, the Vendari of Viconia. You all survived. There were some changes to you all from the adventure you went upon and struggles you passed through. Like a judgment of fire, let's say. You have all... Althea, you suddenly disappeared in Stonheim, and we'll get to you because, your background is fitting for what is happening to Althea. When you awake, the shorter versions are, Velk awoke in the town of Krul, on the river banks of the Talhulla, sat in a tavern, a very familiar tavern to himself, surrounded by adventurers of all varying experiences, veterans and rookies alike, and a few folk that were clear silhouettes that we couldn't quite make the details out of, and a few familiar faces, including one of the particular little dickhead that everyone wants to Eldritch Blast. Etheria and Bjorn, you awoke in the temple that you died in, or at least Etheria died in. But it is very different. Ancient, old, ruined, no sign of your friends. And Bjorn is carrying a bit of a 9 o'clock shadow for very different reasons.
Looking a bit peaky.
Bit vitamin D-less. Fizz, you awoke in or at least one of your homes, back in Ravenholm. Familiar to you, but also not. And you were whole again, or at least in your past, fully human or celestial, looking in the mirror of your lovely bedroom and seeing your long dark hair and flawless, non-soul-forged skin. Rhea, you awoke in a dark forest, very familiar to the one you used to call home, and sat before you on a wonderful cluster of mushrooms was a pink fairy, built like Wonder Woman, swinging a glaive that the Hulk would be proud of. So we're going to start with Faze. Actually, I'll start with Althea. So when you faded away, Althea, watching them all, when you were in Stoneham and you were fighting alongside of them, there was a moment when Bjorn leapt after the wolf. There was an anger that rose through you. Yeah, that's right, Bjorn. There was an anger that rose through you that was... you always knew was there, and you always experienced somewhat in the arena when times were... you were kind of on the losing side of a fight, or odds were stacked against you, and it was sometimes just angry at the fact that how dare they send this rookie against you, or shit, I'm gonna die here. There were various moments and various triggers that brought that rage, that passion, that fire up racing through your blood. You've experienced it a little bit in the aura of light that radiates from you with heat more recently, and your friends explaining to you about Celestials and Asimar and such, and you're slowly piecing that together. But the rage behind the passion and the fire is new, or newly accepted. And when that moment happened, and in other times you may have gone through the process of working out why someone would do X or why somebody would do Y, but the instant reaction of rage, you carried it with you, and as you kept pattering through the Stonheim with them all, you don't know when, but it went black, and when you open your eyes, you were in the air, not falling, not rising. You weren't grasping out for anything. You were relaxed. No rage, no soul light rushing through your veins. Just chill. And in the dark, stormy clouds all around you, silent storm, no cracking of thunder and flash of lightning, you see hundreds and hundreds of your own echoes. Not one of them looks like you. Old, young, long hair, short hair, beards, beardless, powerfully built, slender built, formally dressed in armour, dressed in rags, eating well or tending a wound, all about you. Just every time the clouds shift, you just see another one and another one. And you look down and you witness Bjorn, Etheria, FaZe, Rhea and Kardashian fighting a horrible... you keep that straight face, Edward. Fighting a horrific, what you can only describe as a night of death as they face it. And it is somewhat of a battle you may have experienced before when former champions or current champions from different arenas get brought out before you, and you know that it will take something special to defeat your opponent. You can see your friends in that moment now, and they choose, instead of fighting to the death, which, let's be honest, most of us fought, they chose the path home. At least that's your understanding of it. And you look down at the crystal that you see your friends run up to, touch and disappear from Stoneheim, one after the other. And you're left staring down onto that battle. You see them all gone, but you still see this warrior, this knight of death. You see two lights, two almost as tiny as fireflies, flickering about the head of this Death Knight. And there is a sadness in the Death Knight's eyes. And you look across to the crystal. And if Althea could go anywhere in the world right now, what would she see in the crystal?
Probably when we were in we're still in Etoria. When we were in is it Buxy Bay where Remy was left with the alchemist man? Yeah, there.
It's a check on that. And as you look at the crystal, you see Buxy Bay, and you see the inn beyond. Are you on about Ectelios?
No,
the one down the
it's
road.
same.
Yeah.
One down the road
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
guy that was the fighter and
Was
the
gonna teach him,
alchemist. Yeah.
And you see that building that you left him in, that pristine building. You don't see many people, but you do see the building. And you will yourself towards it. And all these echoes slowly just disappear. Nothing aggressive, just fading away. The dark clouds around you disappear. You take a long breath. You don't touch the crystal per se, but you do feel yourself step through the doorway, or at least the image it presents to you. And you are stood before where you left Remy. Is FaZe back? Or is FaZe doing mum stuff? Doing mum stuff. I understood that, and you're on mute. So, Rhea, we'll start with you. Well, now we've done with Althea. For a little bit, I'm coming back to you. Living you, give your voice a rest. You're in the Stark Forest. If anyone were to ask you, and you had to answer immediately, so yes, this is home. But the second you take a breath, blink, at the first scent, it's off. It's not right. It's out of time, out of place. It's not right. And I mean, that's, to be fair, a great description anyway of the Dark Forest. But for you, it's just off. And you see, and did you see Aranel? You saw Aranel in the guild house many months ago, didn't you?
I think literally a flash.
Yeah. So you see this claimed by some at that point. I cannot remember the guy's name. Something the Blue. When he died. He turned into the snake, and you all fought him.
Yep.
He was working with, or at least one of, Queen Aranel's people. and you see before you this foot-high, stocky, thick, beautiful fair creature, radiating power that you've only maybe witnessed in some of the elders and the elder like druids of your forest. Her glaive sits beside her, almost sentient, just like it reminds you of young creatures when they're curious, like puppies and little squirrels and stuff, just like sniffing around and wanting to be in everything. This glaive is kind of looking, like I say looking, but it moves. I mean, it's a massive weapon, but and it follows the, when you get those fair butterflies that when they flutter and the dust comes from their wings and it sparkles and glitters, and the glaive is doing this as it moves through the air looking around. But it does remind you, especially as a druid and a curious creature yourself, it does remind you of a curiosity, of a pup, of a beast. And Aranel is just sat there in her mushroom throne, just staring across at you.
Just really confused. Am I still at level 5 exhaustion?
Yes. You're just kind of resting against a tree, unable to move very well. Welcome back, Fizz.
Ray's just gonna, like, really croaky voice. This isn't my home.
No. It's not mine either.
So where are we?
Well, at first I thought I would died, but it seems there are more ways than I remember to remain living. And she steps from the mushrooms, and her wings hold her in the air. And the glaive reacts to her moving. He kind of just turns, but then is still among the mushrooms. If it could roll around on its back, it would.
So, not dead.
Not yet, at least.
What do you mean yet?
Well, when the mortals die, they usually have a place their soul will be pulled towards. Some folk divine, others probably sold their bits and bobs for power. But when we die, we kind of have a choice where we go. I didn't choose here.
Well, neither do I. I wanted to go home. The goddess, she said that we make it through and then things should be fine, but we had to work together, and we did work together, and so everything should be fine. And where are all my friends?
What goddess?
The one we went and got Bjorn, and we were in like this, like, not afterlife, because like we weren't dead, but we were dead, and but our souls were still there, and we went to go get Bjorn's soul so that we could bring him back before he died, because he was just doing something out of, like, you know, a deep and intimate passion for things. And I don't remember. I'm so tired. Why am I so tired?
That is an effect these places have. And she lands next to you. And she's a foot-high fairy, and you can feel her, like, almost, you know, like, if you could shuffle away, you're like, just because someone large is coming towards you, but you can recognise that she is here. Allow me. And she full on just waves her hand in front of you, and you feel not warmth, but a firm ground beneath your feet, a comfortableness that it is as of home, and that exhaustion is slowly ebbed away from you as you feel your strength returning, your ability to draw on the druidic magics if you so choose to. You feel yourself complete again. You don't feel any wounds upon your body. You feel as if you have rested for a long time.
I don't know if I should be happy about that or even more.
And she kind of tilts her head as she looks at you, and you see her long pink hair just kind of flop down. You were touched by the divine for a time.
There was this necklace, and it kind of felt like home. It felt like my childhood again. And I put it on, and then I could do all like this healing stuff, and it felt really different. And it was good. It was a good feeling. It made me want to go home, which I didn't think I'd ever want to go home.
Well, I too wish to go home, and like Telio did say this would be temporary, so maybe we should just go for a walk.
Yeah, sure. She kind of gets up and feels the need to dust herself off.
The dust falls from you as if it's in zero gravity. Like you brush it from you, and it just...
Ew, I hate this. Okay. So, okay, how did you die?
I suppose if there was a bard, they could describe it romantically. Ectelio drew a blade across my throat. And she just leans up, and you just see a thin line across her throat.
Telio.
Yes, which is surprising, since he can't look where he's swinging the blade. Don't worry, it's all planned, part of the grand trickery. Some folk want me actually dead.
Yeah, I think we kind of guessed that. So what is the grand trickery?
Well, I'm not actually dead, or hopefully not remaining dead.
Okay, but why did you let yourself get dead in the first place?
To give a fleeting moment of victory to the one whose life I seek.
Who are you killing?
If I get my hands on them, the wolf known as Everdark.
There's just like Rhea's eyes turn like a shocking blue out of like a nervousness almost. What's his deal?
Everdark's
Yeah.
doesn't like change, or competition, or anything that's not of their design. I had a chance a while ago, but I was better advised.
I'm sure it was all for good reason. Less than ideal, because something really strange happened to me a little while back, and I don't know what it means. You seem to have an aura of knowing a lot of things about a lot of stuff.
Only the things I've learnt.
Okay. But it's like I had this thing, and it was like a dream, but it wasn't a dream, and Everdark was talking to me, and I really didn't like it. It made me feel really gross.
It's the accent.
It's just the entirety of him. It's just really, I don't like it. But he was talking to me as if he kind of knew me, and he told me about the noon. And how did he? I don't understand how he knew stuff about me.
Because you're one of us.
Yeah. There's a lot of, well, kind of a lot of us. Like, there's a lot of different types of us as well.
There is a lot of us, but there is not a lot of us. And she points at you, at herself.
I don't know what that means. And Rhea does it back.
You remind me of someone I once travelled with. Let us walk, and I will try to explain. And she, mind if I fly? And she just flutters up to like, so she's eye level with you.
As to which Rhea just goes, and so she kind of beats the wings a little bit, takes a little hover, and does she fly?
In here, yes.
Yes! Fantastic. That's all she cares about. She'll float back down now.
Aranel looks over to the glaive, and it immediately heals over to her.
Sorry, but the glaive is a dog. I cannot see the glaive as anything else now.
You do you.
Okay, great. It's a golden retriever.
You go into the I mean, if it bites you, it's gonna hurt.
Absolutely.
You go for a walk with Aranel. Fizz.
Yeah.
When you look out into the streets and you see people walking around, it is surreal. It doesn't feel like your memory, but everything is recognised. Small memories start to flow as you make your way around the room and outside, and you feel everything you attempt, exhaustion flows away from you. Like you want to look in the mirror, you feel a bit more energetic. You want to leave the room, the door opens and you're in the hallway at the top of the stairs, and you feel the exhaustion ebbing away. And you're almost willing yourself forwards, and with every moment willed, you feel the exhaustion slowly ebb away. You're out in the streets. You recognise now, and you say the word, or at least mouth the word, you're not sure if sound comes out. The city of Rorstad. Now the city of Rorstad is the capital city, or at least claimed capital city, of the province of the Forged within Ravenholm. The architecture, as you look around, is a strange mix between ancient Gothic and the curves of Hobbiton. Okay, now we'll go with that. It's surreal to see such a like a dark iron application applied to somewhere that the way the streets move and curve as the gradient rises. I mean, this city is a metropolis. You can imagine it looking a bit of a devastation of a beautiful valley, but in its same time looking powerful and right and awe-inspiring. And despite the darkness of the metalwork that is used here, there is something just impressive, not oppressive. It doesn't feel like it's weighing down upon you. It is just you just feel the awe, and you remember the first time you came here, bringing children from the school to give them instruction and tell them of the history of Rorstad and the items that are made here that are devastatingly beautiful, incredibly powerful, perfect, imbued with every flavour of magic and possibility. But it's also famous across the globe for being the only place in the world where a soul forged can be created. And you're remembering these school trips, these lessons, this bit of like tour guideness as you teach these children the ways of Ravenholm and its histories and the possibilities of its future. And as you're remembering these facts, there are people passing you by and waving, and you know they're saying good morning or hello. You know, people that seem to recognise you, and you don't hear noise, but you know what they're doing. It's strange to interpret silence. You hear things like, within your mind at least, good morning Faze, hello Tutor Viola, young children calling you Mom and Miss, and every other title that they can think of on the spot, all playfully, just walking past you. It's as if school's out and they've met you in the street and they're being respectful. You look around, there are moments where you look down a street and you're just moving yourself through the street. Every now and then you're further down the street than you remember, and as much as it all feels like a memory, there's still things about it that are completely locked away, either lost or so deep, impossible to retrieve. And then you see it, that brings back a memory of pain and loss and blood, and the wanting for it all to go away, never to open your eyes again, never to claim any voice that wasn't your own saying goodbye to the world, whether it be divine or a youngling. You see the Stern Light Forge, the forge that has its own district within the city of Rorstad, practically a wonder of the known world. It is a series of arcane forges imbued with runes, glyphs, sigils, statues, sculpturing. The Sternlight Forge is indescribable. If anyone wants to claim that they are among the elite of smiths, they need to have at least gazed upon the Sternlight Forge. It's also where the Star Gauntlet is kept. The one item in the world that, according to myth and legend, can forge anything. And going on that Soul Forged exist only in Ravenholm, only in the province of the Forge, nowhere else in the world have these ever been seen. It allows you to take the soul of a being and forge it within a vessel, as long as that vessel is smithed here. And you stare, it is like looking at a mountain in the middle of the sea. What do you do?
So I can't hear anything. Not birds, nothing. Nothing's moving around me, not footsteps.
Everything's
Voices
moving.
that I can't hear.
So you know that's a footstep, but you don't hear the noise. You know somebody said to you, good morning, Face, but you don't hear them say, good morning, Face. When you look at them, you have the memory of them saying good morning, Face, but you don't witness it happen. Does that make sense?
In a very trippy way, yeah.
It's like you catch up.
Yeah, like I've got a delay.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll progress it into the Sternlight Forge and see if I can find someone I can actually interact with properly.
As you start now walking, before it was more like skips in time, that you'd appear somewhere else, and you feel yourself fully rested.
How nice.
You begin to walk the streets again. They're known to you, and as you begin to walk, you start to hear the murmurs of people and your own footsteps on the stone, on the cobbles. You'll hear a door close, a clang of metal, beasts making noises for market, like being brought to a market or being used to pull the contraptions used for the forges. You hear you hear a call, and you don't quite hear what they say, like you're underwater, and then it catches up to you. Oh, Faze, you're up early. And you turn, and you see a half-elven woman. Your age, or at least human side of her. Short ears, not like the really long ones of the elves of the northeast. Geordie elves, I am not writing that. She is a friend. It feels like a friend. You recognise the face. You recognise her hazel eyes, her almost like conker brown hair. You recognise her. Her attire is one of a crafter. She has a long apron, but it's thinner than that of the blacksmiths or the armour smiths or those that work with the heat and the metals or the heavier metals. It is more. It's thinner and more refined, and seems to be a bit more comfortable than just the heavy stuff they throw on up at where the molten stuff is. She has a series of tools on this apron in the pockets, very fine tools, and she's covered in jewellery, but it is almost twisted, almost like the chicken wire twisted metal jewellery, and it kind of, she makes like ivy on one arm, and then on the other arm it'd be like a spider web. She has small earrings, maybe 3 or 4 in each ear, again from like a silver wire that's been bent and shaped, and they take on natural the aesthetics of nature, like the spider webs, the vines, leaves. There is a small almost mountain range on the, I don't know what you call, like a wide
Throat?
no, not a dog collar, but you know when it's wide, it might be still a dog collar, I don't know, but it'd go around her entire neck.
Just be a wide choker, I guess.
Posture collar is actually what it's called. Just keep it up.
So it's not as sturdy as one of those, but it is decorative, but it is of that sort of design. And she's walking towards you after saying, I'll do. But she seems to be very there, whereas everything else seems to be just a little bit delayed. And you recognise her as Salia.
Salia. And just to clarify, how much do I remember from before I woke up?
From before you woke up, you remember, right now, you remember the incident in a very, it was devastating, but it's a very, very exaggerated memory of that incident. To even you are aware that your own self is blowing it out like as just craziness, to the point where that's what you're trying to not remember. Being here, you only remember being here as you long before, long time ago. Right. Being here as you are is very, very different. And the last time you saw Salia, she was almost, it was like you were in, when you're in a tattoo parlour and you're on the chair and they're doing their work. That's the sort of memories you have of Salia, is she's doing work on you, but you can't remember what she's doing work on, but you get that feeling of you were in her care.
Okay, and last thing, do I remember what I normally look like, or do I only remember myself as I am at the moment?
You know this is not how you look, but you can't remember why.
Okay. Salia?
Yes. She kind of glides towards you.
There's something weird here. It's not right.
I should say so. You're looking like you.
As opposed to...
And she kind of does this to you. How did you... What are you doing back in Rorstad? And as you go to speak to her, she comes out of a building nearby. She just disappears in front of you. Comes out of a building, door opens, comes out of a building nearby. She's like, "Oh, Faze, good morning. When did you get into town?"
We were just talking 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Where did you go? Where did you come? Where did you go?
I didn't go anywhere. And she walks
Are you
towards
here?
you. She walks towards you and just walks through you and fades away like a ghost.
Well, that doesn't really help. Can I see where she's gone?
Give me a perception check.
Okay. I forgot how to play the game, so I've only just opened my character, so one sec. Take a week off, I'm hopeless. 14?
14.
Yeah.
You see her walking up ahead amongst a crowd of people. It's full on like red dress in the Matrix. Like everyone else seems to be just silhouettes and blurs, and you just see her appear with a bit more clarity. And she's further towards the Stern Light Forge.
As things started coming more into focus as I was walking towards the Sternlight Forge, I'm going to continue walking in that direction to see if, because I got more sound, I got more realism.
Okay.
So I'll keep going in that direction.
Cool. I'm going to leave you there for now as you walk towards the Stern Light Forge. Velk. You're sat in the rocking chair by the fire. Big cheesy ass smile on your face. Tankard of, well, Eduardo. And you're in the tavern of the Tommy Wasp. You see Tiny the Mastiff pottering past. The tears of ink dry up, and as they dry and the chair moves, whenever Tiny does a bit of a lap around you, you feel your energies, your ability to pull from the story and cast magics returning quicker and quicker. And it's definitely associated with the presence of the gargantuan mastiff.
I was saying, the narrator stands up and walks towards the mastiff. And I'll stop and like shake my head for a second. And then I walk and start stroking.
As you stroke Mastiff, a goblin maybe 2 tables away from you with a couple of knives looks across at you, goes, "Yeah!" slams their tankard down and walks off towards the back of the tavern. There's nothing at the back of the tavern, but just walks and disappears into the shadows.
Sketch storms off aggressively. I'll shake my head again.
You look across at the bar and you see Orlov. You know, it's Orlov. It's his bar. It's the grey skin of the orc, the long white hair. Looking, Orlov is known to be the grandfather of adventurers. It's kind of his nickname in Cruel because of why people come here. But he looks ancient. Should not be standing ancient. It doesn't make sense. You don't know any page that you've laid ink upon that matches anything you're witnessing in all of right now. And stood on the bar and kind of resting against one of the pillars off to the side, you see Krotal. A shadow of despair crouched low next to them, just holding an axe and staring at Orlov. Hood up. You just see the eyes glowing beneath. And the tash.
I approach the bar. Olaf, are you well?
There's a moment of, like, the sound's taking a long time to get there, like it's thick in the air and there's like trying to get through mud, and Olaf's just staring ahead. And you notice that the blood dragon iconography on the shield on the wall, that the blood is dripping from the shield in blacks and reds, very thin and inky, hitting the floor beneath the shield. And Olaf seems to be held, and you have recognised it straight away that there is a element of magical holding on Orlov, which again does not reminisce on any page that your quill has ever touched regarding this retired warrior of Savai. And he's just staring ahead, but you can see his eyes are alert, but he's just staring ahead. And Krytalda says, "He's not with us today, storyteller."
The narrator ponders. Why might his friend be so stuck? Cried out.
Looks
Where
across.
where is everybody? Where is those that I speak of?
Stuck on the same page.
It's not good. It's not good.
Not easy to turn the page without the storyteller. And then Krytel turns, jumps off the bar, and before it hits the ground disappears, and the shadow of despair disappears with him. And Orlov kind of falls, like stumbles, like has been released from that hold, hands on the bar, looking around, and looks just as, not as, I mean, confused, probably not the right word for Velk, but aware of the differences in reality. Velk.
The narrator smiles at us, and I stop and shake my head again, and just...
My apologies. Tumbleword. Where are we? Looking around.
I believe we're stuck. I'm not quite sure how to make us go again, really. How did you get here? Do you know, what do you know?
I was, last thing I remember, I was having a drink with your mother. And she started crying, and she pulled out her book, and I started scribbling. Scripture I'd never seen before. Ugh, the language not of these parts. When was the last time you were home, Tumbleword?
Storyteller ponders for a second. It's been a while. I haven't been back to Cruel in quite some time. Found a group worthy of a story, but I fear the story. I can't. Something has stopped it.
Your mother said something about a page. She's going to turn the page. She kept writing on the same page over and over again. Then there was something in the tavern, something different. And looks around. Where's Tiny? Sees Tiny just pottering around, no longer near you two. That's not Tiny. Where are we, storyteller? I've not been scared for decades.
Did it, by chance, have eyes of purple?
Yeah, scales across its head.
Fear something is trying to manipulate the story.
It was bleeding from its mouth. Like an ink or a something. Are we dead? Kind of raises an eyebrow when he asks that question, looking at you. Am I dead?
No. The narrator debates what to say to his friend, whether to fill him with hope or fill him with despair.
Remember the tale you told me when we walked across the bridge to the northern part of town? How about you tell me it again, Tumbleword?
Aye. It was the tale of Cruel itself, was it not? Of how it was formed.
As you speak those words, all of and yourself, and you're doing your normal thing, and the tavern itself seems to deconstruct slightly, and now looks like a construction site for a moment, and you can see folk bringing the wood over and putting it together, and a few arcane casters adding their particular personality to the flavours of the tavern.
It was on a site between two great nations at war, that lands ravaged. Many folk rose to fame. Many saw misfortune. Great creatures and battles were had.
As this, sorry Ed, as this is spoken, you can see, and this is more for all of is in kind of waiting for your next part in the story, and as things start to unfold around yourself and all of, the tavern goes away, and you're further away from the town, and you see great warriors with red skin, purple skin, ebony skin, great horns wrapped around like ram's horns or antlers of demonic bone, facing off against warriors of Atoria in their muscle caresses and their Corinthian helmets, divine magic imbued clashing of, celestial and fiend, which is all part and parcel of your tale of Cruel. But as you're speaking through it, you're watching all of, and your relationship with the tavern keeper and being the narrator is one throughout generations. It is a bond that, no matter the timeline, always happens. And as you're passing through it, and you're talking about it, and you mention the great heroes and such, you spin off on a particular warrior, imbuing the powers of the blood dragon, and you see a great grey orc in plate armour, helmet smashed off, and you see all of in his youth, and he launches his halberd, and it whistles past you and him and lands in the dirt, and he just turns to you. I was waiting for you to get to that bit. And he picks up the halberd. Continue on, please, Tumbleword. Before you do, Ed, I'm going to move on to the little people. Bjorn and Etheria. You awoke in the temple, the one in Atoria, the one in Dwalor, the one where Bjorn fell, Katova ran away, the wings of whoever were left upon the ground. A priest holding residence, allegedly, in a temple that paid respects to every celestial of Atoria. But now you've returned to it. The last time you were here, Etheria, you and your friends ingested a poison to go to a place you'd never visited, knew nothing about, to retrieve your friend Bjorn. And you've passed through Stoneheim together, which is no easy feat. But only you two are here. No Althea, no Velk, no Faze, no Rhea. 3, 2, 1, go.
Etheria.
Yeah.
I do not know. Obviously, I did not come inside last time we were here. I made it to the garden and no further. This looks a little bit more in disrepair than the outside did.
When I left, it did not look like this, did it?
No. I mean, when you left, it was a great temple to the 12 celestials of Atoria. They were etchings all over the pillars. They were, not donations, what do you call them? When they bring them up. I know what I mean. Offerings, there you go. All around the altar and such. This looks like a ruined temple that belonged to nobody unless you were a historian.
Yeah. The shape's right, but it's different. It's old. It feels old.
Do you think what we saw could have been an illusion?
Stonheim?
No, the temple. This place.
It felt real. The priest felt real. The poison was real. The priest is... I can't see the priest.
Do you feel strong enough to explore?
Not yet. Can you see our friends?
Look around. No. I take it you were all in the same part of the temple when you last saw them?
Yeah, we were here. We brought the wings in. We drank the poison. We followed you.
Can you do that thing with your mind and contact them?
I can try. I just send messages out. I generally need to know the direction, but I send it every which way.
But it's not planar, is it?
No,
sending's planar, isn't it? So you're doing message and sending's the bigger one, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's literally, I think it's 30 feet range. No, 120 foot range, but yeah, so I just try it in each.
Did he line of sight?
I don't, but I tend to need a direction, and I need to know, and it's got to go to someone. I can't just send it, and
okay.
So I'll try it. I'll go through my friends. I'll try Fairs.
Who first? Is it a cantrip or a spell or what?
It's a cantrip, so yeah, I can just keep doing it. So I'll try Fairs first. I'll try compass points pretty much.
What do you say?
So Fairs, are you there? Fairs.
Is that it?
Pretty much.
Fairs, do you speak Draconic?
No, Common, Infernal, and Sylvan.
In Infernal, you hear Fairs. Fairs, are you there, Fairs?
Yes. Hello? Where are you?
Do you speak Infernal, Etheria?
I don't. I speak Common, Draconic, and Elvish.
Cool. In Elvish, you hear what Fairs said.
I hear Fairs. Do I pick up a direction or?
You just know she's within apparently 120 feet of you.
It's Oddbjorn. I normally feel a place, a direction. A sec. Fairs, where are you? We're in the temple. Me and Bjorn are here. No one else. It's strange.
That's very weird because I'm in Rorstad.
You hear it in Elven, Etheria. You hear it in Infernal, Fairs.
Why are you speaking
Also, I
Elven?
didn't know you spoke Infernal.
What? I don't. Why? Do you speak Elvish?
Let's check again.
You do.
I speak Sylvan.
Oh, you heard it in Elvish, Etheria, because you speak Elvish, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And that means that we're not where we think we are.
Are you? Are the others there?
No, I'm alone.
Faye says she's in Rostag, I think she said. But I can't talk to someone in Rostag.
Where is Rostag?
I will say, Etheria, you will know because
my teachings.
The Vey are old enough to know that the star fell in Ravenholm, and they got it before they did.
It's in Ravenholm. It's, as far as I'm aware, it's where Fez is from. It's the House of the Forged.
Quite a distance then.
Further than I'm strong enough for.
You keep at it. I'm going to drag myself to the door and have a look outside.
Fez, something odd's going on. I'm going to try the others. Be safe.
Yes, let me know where they are, if they're okay. Glad you're alive.
You two.
Worst WhatsApp group ever.
I don't like being the center of the group. Raya, are you there? Are you here? There?
Raya, you see Aranel stop. And Etheria, you hear in the language of the Fae. You know it to be the language of the Fae, even though you do not speak it. Who is this?
But I understand the words.
Yep.
I am Etheria, of the Fae. Who's this? I'm trying to reach Raya. This has never happened.
I am Aranel of the Fae.
The Queen?
Not yet.
My apologies, Your Highness is...
Not yet.
Apologies again. How are you... How? How are you speaking to me?
You reached out. I don't like my friends being magically contacted without their permission.
That's fair. Is she there?
She is.
Is she okay?
Well, she's dead, but she'll be fine.
She's dead? Am I dead?
You're very dead if you are able to speak to us here.
Oh. I'll look across at Bjorn. I'll keep that one to myself for a minute.
Yeah.
Could you tell her that I say I'm here with Bjorn and we appear to be okay, although dead. And Fez is somewhere, but okay, but dead.
Do you wish to be alive?
Yes. I wish my friends to be alive.
Reach the end of the forest, and if Raya wishes it, she will also find you there.
The forest? Thank you. Please look after her.
No return.
Althea? Are you there? I don't think you came the same way.
Althea, in Halfling, you hear the words that Etheria is saying.
I don't speak halfling.
You still understand?
Okay. I'll reply. Etheria? Is that you?
Yes. I think we're dead.
As
Still?
Etheria says, I think you're dead. You see Remy walk out the building in front of you. Maybe 50 years old. Arm in arm with the alchemist that you left him with. And they've got a couple of nippers running around them. And you hear them shouting, Grandpa, Grandpa, can we go to market?
Yeah, we're dead, and I've ended up in hell. Where did you end up?
Tell me now. Tell me.
Yeah,
Best line of the entire episode.
just far and I got it out.
I'm with Bjorn. We're in the temple. Rhea's with the fairy princess. Fez is in Roshtag. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I've not contacted Velk yet. Where are you? Where is... What hell?
Back in Buxy Bay, but
That's nice.
it's not. I think something's happened with time. I can see Remy, but he's a lot older than he should be. At least by 3 decades, maybe more. I don't know what's happened.
I'm glad he made it.
What do you mean he made it?
Well,
I didn't expect him to live this long either, to be fair.
He wasn't the most
Labels.
careful with the potions.
He seems happy now.
Good. I'll come back. I'm going to try Velk.
Okay. Be safe.
I'll try you two. Velk, Sketch, Monkey Boy, Viconian guy. Velk, are you there?
Your book, Velk, opens up pages and just in front of you. And you see the little pink dragonborn Etheria running around and acting out, and you interpret it as you know how to, and the words of Etheria appear on the page as Etheria's speaking to them. A small illusionary temple around Etheria, as you're used to seeing when you do your writings on an evening.
Etheria calls out desperately to the rest of the party. Frozen, trying to find a way out.
You hear that, Etheria, in about 7 different languages.
That's a lot. Bjorn, we're dead. They're out there somewhere. But Velk is Velk. Velk, what do we do?
Etheria calling out, trying to figure out where they are, what's going on, why the pages have stopped turning, why the story is not progressing. The party around ponder.
Is Velk still being Velk?
Yes, it's both reassuring and frustrating.
Sounds about right then. What's outside the door, really?
Give me an athletics check first. You ain't in no good shit to be like, I'll just crawl over it. You should be alright. It's a DC of 10, my good Viconian.
Nice. 11.
Takes a while.
with a zero modifier.
With a plus 11. You manage to somehow get yourself there, lose a few nails on the way. When you open the door, you're looking at the boots of somebody. These boots are beautiful, perfect leather, dyed with a violet sheen to them. As you look up, you see the most elegantly dressed. I say elegantly. Your first impression is of the grandness and wonder and beauty that Ectelio exuded, regardless of your taste in beauty. You couldn't help but describe Ectelio with beauty. But the shades of plum and violet and other ribena of other purples across this humanoid. Their skin is perfectly smooth. The tattoos across their skin, they are in moments both topless and adorned with silks, ruffled shirts, smooth shirts, long cuffs, the tighter cuffs, the more fitted versions. They kind of move in and out in front of you as if they are wearing 7 or 8 different fashions of elegance. Their hair flows behind them as if it is in water, deep, deep purple behind them, just kind of stands in the air. Their features are perfect. Their presence is expected, welcomed, distrusted, anticipated. What you notice across when they are in those moments where you can see more of their flesh across their arms or their chest or their neck, as they kind of just stand there, fingers together in the air in front of them, looking down at you. You see scripture, almost calligraphy across them, like a tattoo. I mean, the first thing you think of is back home when the warriors apply runes or ward or, you know, whether it just be a natural thing or a magical thing. There are patterns and such. There are magic in pattern and glyphs and runes and sigils and all this. But it is scripture, calligraphy at its finest. But there is a draconic, serpentine nastiness to this entity. Humanoid is the closest you can get to race. Just that they have arms and legs, a torso, a head similar to yourself. And they look down at you. Nearly didn't make it out of the first chapter, did we? Look at you. You can stand, and as if a string is on the back of your neck, just plucks it, pulls up, and like a puppet, you stand up. Lets go of the string, waves their hand either side of you, and you feel yourself being dusted down by an invisible hand. And you no longer feel exhausted at all, perfectly fine. You've been stood up, sort of like back in the day when Dad grabs your boom, get up, slaps you on the back, or Mum, it's by corner, you know what I mean? I can smell them upon you.
I try to draw my sword.
As you grab your sword and try to draw it, you are like elated. Your kimono flows out in front of you. You feel air rush upon you, and the shadow blade comes out of your sheath, and you are no longer any form of exhausted.
Whatever you have done to me, I feel much better. So you have my thanks. But who are you?
The truest of storytellers. There is no other.
I have a friend that you might like to be acquainted with. They are also a storyteller. More of a narrator, though they do tend to get involved quite a lot in the story.
I am aware of your little friend.
Oh, he is quite small, yes.
My apologies. My apologies. Your friend is lovely, I'm sure.
Aetherius kind of stood in a half crouch with a sword half out the sheath.
That won't be of use here, Dragonborn.
Confused.
Winter Rose, I've read about you. Tumbleword is quite the author. Read, well, all of their. I've read all of their.
Who are you?
I told you. I'm a storyteller.
Can you tell us the story of how to get out of here to our friends?
You're not my story.
Is that a no?
Just waves their hand and you move sideways like 5 feet. Just like, shh. And they step into the temple, kind of looking around the place. Prayers everywhere. No longer false, fake. Nobody listens. Only those with quill and ink.
Why are you here?
I was interested. I heard some rumblings in the forest, and it's been a while since I visited a temple, so I came to see, and here you are, and well, I'm your biggest fans. Can't wait to see what the next page entails.
Neither can we.
How's being dead going for you?
Forgive me, I don't mean to be rude, but your voice changes. Your countenance.
Have you never changed your voice? Just stay the same mono all the time? How boring.
I suppose that's true.
Planning on staying dead long? I need to know what happens in the story. Can't be staying here on the same page.
We would very much like not to.
Do you know what's next?
If I knew what was next, you wouldn't be here. Why are you so pale?
Yes, sorry, that was more to myself.
Just stares at you for a while.
Aranel says we need to find the end of the forest. I think that's the name.
There's a great forest outside. Just got to know the way to walk.
There's a forest outside. There was a town.
No, it's beautiful, green, emerald. The way Tumbleword describes it is just amateurish, mediocre. His ink is not worthy of parchment.
I thought you was a fan.
Just looks at you and looks away as if looking for food.
I'm going to look outside.
You see a vast forest reaching away where the town of Dwala would be. Beautiful emerald leaves, deep, rich brown trunks, like the stories of old.
I'm going to send a message to each person in turn. Fez, Rhea. We'll get through to Rhea.
Nothing happens, and the purple violet entity with you goes, "No, no, no."
What?
No whisperings. No magical messages.
How did you stop me?
Oh, well, sometimes it's a bit rude to send a message when they're holding conversation with other people, and well, I heard it on its way, so my apologies for sometimes just give the ink a little smudge and it doesn't quite go all the way. Walk the forest. I can't wait to see the next page.
Do you know the right way that you mentioned earlier?
Yes, you want to start here and finish at the end.
Sounds like a plan, Etheria. What do you think?
I was going to message our friends to ask them to meet us at the end.
They've got their own pages to fill.
I think we should start, Bjorn.
Very well.
Are you staying here, mister? I apologise, my name's Etheria. You may know that from your pages. This is Bjorn.
The Winter Rose. Quite the sword master. Yes.
I wouldn't
Excuse
say
me.
master.
And
Yes.
they walk around the other side of the altar. And they do this and they sit down and their particularly in that moment, they have a long, almost dinner coat jacket, like loose fitting, and it kind of flaps up at the side of them. And they sit in a huge, thick, leather-bound tome, just poof, appears, lands in the dust on the altar, and the pages flick. This thing is maybe, if you stood it up, maybe 3 feet high, maybe like this thick, just opens up. This cricks their neck again. The forest awaits, and I must read.
Can you tell us what it says in the I think it's called the blurb?
No. Walk the forest. I need to read.
We're going. Bjorn?
I will follow your lead, Etheria. Farewell, storyteller.
Goodbye, and please tell Tumbleword when he finishes the narration. I'm taking his spine. Goodbye, and they do that, and you two go out the temple door, and the door closes.
Etheria,
Yeah,
do you think he meant the spine of the book?
I hope so.
It's pretty dark.
Do you feel like jogging? I feel like running.
He did say to walk. I don't know whether to take it literally, but we can run if you like.
At least for a while.
I feel better than I have in a while, so yes, we can run.
Physically I do, but that man creeps me out more than anybody ever has, including Kytro.
Oh, run away. I understand. Yes, of course, we can run away. Let us go.
Just pick a direction, just away from the
Run
temple.
run towards the forest.
Pretty much.
On that, I'm going to call a break there as you enter the forest. I'm going to grab a brew and see what the rest of you get up to. Right, gonna have a quick cup of tea. Stick around, folks, and we shall be back momentarily. Break time. Right, we're back.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello, people of the
Eh.
internet and nerds. Pretty much the same people. Right, just before the break, you're all doing stuff. You're in a world of deadness. Stuff is happening all around us. And we left Etheria and Bjorn entering the Emerald Forest. Raya. You've just witnessed Aranel just stare off into the distance for a few moments and then look back at you. Your friend Etheria, and just dies. Just dies. Scales over and dies. Your friend Etheria says hello.
Hi.
What are you doing?
Saying hello back. Are they here?
Do you see them?
No.
Then
but
no.
I wasn't sure if you'd seen them, and I hadn't, because how else would you know that Etheria said hello? Just saying.
Let's keep the rage down within. You walk, you flock about the you flock about the you little perv, about the dark forest with the puppy glaive. Such a weird ass game we play. It feels
You
like
described it.
it feels like I slipped, all right. Feels like a very long time, almost a passing of a few days. Like you're just constantly, the trees are changing, the coloration of the sky above changes. You're just in general conversation about the nature magics that reach out to you, the creatures you've changed into, the creatures that you've not seen for ages because you left the forest and you recognise one running along a tree branch or ripping the head off a frog. You know, because it's the dark forest. That's how we roll in the dark forest. We kill all the frogs.
Not all of them.
No.
Not in your lick.
No. But then Aranel pauses, and you don't remember walking into a glade, but you are among a glade, and the bark of the trunks are silver, and they have a nostalgic feeling about the moon, and you feel your connection to druidism stronger in this glade. The branches themselves have a copper tint, and there is a scent, an odour of wet dog. You kind of look about the place. And Aranel looks angry as shit as she looks about the place. I hate Everdark. Even here. How did you come across the one who spins words?
Everdark?
Everdark is not a spinner of words.
I don't know who you mean then.
You will die next.
I know.
Your Viconian friend was first. You'll follow.
Yeah, that's probably right. I'm pretty lost without my mates.
You don't need to
just
fear
here for the
Everdark.
vibes. Why not? Because I'll die before I get to him. Yeah.
I just have a feeling. Do you know what an orc is?
Yes.
And you notice the glaive next to you, just kind of bumping into you now and then. Aranel looks at the glaive, looks at you. Okay.
I'm not that well travelled. There's a reason why I ended up in a forest. I wanted to go home because that's where it was safe. I haven't gone as far as I thought I would have by now, but I've got things to learn. I'm sure you already know that because I'm pretty dumb.
You're not dumb. You're just inexperienced, as you say. And let's leave it there and not investigate that sentence.
But you speak of orcs.
I do. One in particular. A retired warrior by the name of Orlov once followed a dragon. Bled for that dragon and was scarred by it. Orlov never got over it. However, Orlov was working with Ectelio. Helped me hide here. Wasn't aware I'd be hiding in the same place that you were, but Orlov is able to you need to walk, and just nods to the other side of the glade where there's 2 or 3 trees that are not silver barked, and there you have the natural colour of your shadowy forest. More greys and hues of blue. Orlov will be there. Orlov is expecting me. When you get there, tell Orlov Aranel sent you.
Is that a good thing?
That's on you.
You don't seem to be having the best luck at the moment, so I don't know.
Luck has nothing to do with it. We're fair. There is no luck, only what we deem.
I'm also dead, so
So am I.
as part of your grand trickery,
Well,
I thought I would have been alive by now.
join in.
Yay. And Rhea just looks like she is about to shit herself as she starts to walk across the stage.
A little bit of advice. Avoid taking the form of the wolf. You only make Everdark smile every time you do.
Any wolf or a specific wolf?
Aranel just stares at you, as if you've answered your own question. That's up to you if you have,
Didn't I?
but Aranel...
What's my favourite? Okay. What? Okay. And she just kind of keeps walking, with her head kind of held down in defeat of the fact that she should probably not be turning into a dire wolf anytime soon.
You still can, you know what I mean? It's just a bit of advice from, Queen of the thing.
Not queen yet.
Not queen yet. There's some pinky with a chuffing spear. So you walk the forest?
Yeah.
Cool. Fizz.
Yeah.
You heading into the Sternlight Forge?
Yes.
As you follow the hustle and bustle of folk going there, and you do get that feeling of museum tour, loads of folk being led around and being told of the great things that were there, and you have a bit of a moment where you half remember some of the information that you'd pass on, like the great pieces of armour, the jewellery made there, the claims of horseshoes to make your horse fly. Like, there's a vast range of incredibly articulated stories of myth and legend, and then some of the cheap stuff. You now appear in the main hall. Like, you don't remember following the corridors or the door. Bless you, bless you. And you are now stood in the foyer of the Sternlight Forgery.
The foyer.
Foyer. The heat is incomparable to anything you've ever experienced. But you do start to have a bit of a moment, and you sweat, shake, your breath goes real short, you then start breathing too fast, and your anxiety spikes. As you fall to the floor, like in a faint, you close your eyes a couple of times, some people call it blinking, and then you open your eyes, and you are on a trolley. and it has been wheeled at incredible speeds towards somewhere. Pain is not a thing, but the pain of your soul outweighs the wounds that your body has taken. And you feel the slickness all about you. And you hear the words above you in an arcane language that you think you should understand but don't. And then you recognise some of this and that and not. And it is, you know these words, you've said these words or tried to say these words, but you didn't know them then, so you don't understand them now. And they're rushing you along this corridor. You pass out, wake up. You're in a room and there is constellation after constellation on a dome ceiling above you. There is heat radiating from all directions. There are nebulas floating all around you that fade in and out. There is a tall figure, very slender, they're a very long person. They seem to be, it's strange, it's as if stretched, but it just happens to be the way that they are. And on their right hand is a very, very beautiful starlit glove, as if made from soft silks and decorated with the stars themselves, just plucked and placed on each of their hand. Not a gauntlet, not a overwhelming, metal monstrosity on a blacksmith's arm. And they are walking around you, and you see this nebula raging. Another nebula appears. One is of purples and blues, the other one of pinks and oranges, and they are cascading into one another above you. There is noise everywhere, clanging, screaming and shouting, but it is of urgency. There is emotion of those of loss. There is the expectation of failing, but must keep trying, and you're assailed by all these feelings. These nebulas clash over and over again, and you see this tall, slender figure reach out their silken gloved starlit hand, and the nebulas hold, as if two fighting dogs had been told to heel, and they're just off against each other. And then you hear an operatic chorus flow through the air, and the nebulas settle and become what you've seen when you've been lucky enough to be in the presence of those that stargaze through magics and other means. And you get to see that beautiful picturesque moment, poof, starlit. No mountains, no rivers, no buildings, no Gothic architecture, just two beautiful nebulas above you. You feel the breath leaving your body. You feel tear run from one eye, because there is no other. You understand where you are, when you are. And the nebulas pull down towards you, and you feel them wrap you like a blanket. It is more like a friend you could disappear into kind of hug that these nebulas give you. And you pass out again. And when you wake up, you are in that chair, elevated, and you feel heavy. When you turn one way, lie to the other. You kind of bring yourself round, and your long dark hair is in front of your face. And you hear the voice of Celia. Oh, by the time I finish with you, you're going to look beautiful. Just as beautiful as you did before. Don't you worry. We've got this. It's fine. Trust me. And you kind of move your hair aside, and you look down your left, and you now see what you recognise yourself to be. And you see the jeweller that is Celia working the patterns into your now half soul forged vessel, creating the runes on it and the glyphs and the sigils that hold your soul within, that give it its aesthetic, that is chosen by you, whether consciously or subconsciously. And she's working away. She's doing her thing. She's doing her magics, her job, her lot in life. And she's talking to you like she would a customer in a barber's or a tattoo place, and there is a rapport going. And it now feels like you've been speaking this rapport for a while, and it's very one way from Celia as she continues. Every now and then she'll kind of just wipe her brow a little bit, giving you a sign she's been at this for a while. And she stops. Well, check it out. You bring your hand in front of you and you move your fingers, and it feels as if it's you. And then you turn around. It's not there, but it is. You see a long red cloak just resting on a chair. This is the moment. This is the moment you remember. That when you called out and you needed that divine spark to give you your path, to give you your opportunity to walk the path you wanted. When the Red Lady reached out and said, I will give you the domain of war to throw in the faces of those that took from me and you what is ours. Those youngling souls will be returned to us. And you stand up off the chair. You take the cloak and you wrap it around. It falls down either side of you. You look down and you are in the clothing of your choice. It appears, forms around you in your soul-forged vessel half-self. And you see, laying next to a chair, your weapons of choice. What do you do?
I will. Is Celia still there?
Yeah, she just sat in the chair, like she's kind of just taking bits of like the tools that were kind of just like been resting on, like a full-on dentist chair. Like she's wrapping up all her little tools and stuff. There is a plethora of crushed gemstones of varying colorations that have definitely been used in whatever arcane dueling she's been doing to your vessel.
I'll pick up the weapons, first of all. And turn to Celia and say, thank you. Why did you put this much effort into me? Do you remember?
You're not the only one that likes the Red Lady. And she rolls up her sleeve. And she's got celestial, runic, sort of... They are incredibly detailed runic tattooings down her forearms, front and back, along her bicep and shoulder and under. I followed the Red Lady since I was a child. And I've worked this forge as an apprentice since I was a child. And the effort... maybe... You're the second soul forged I've ever been allowed to work upon. And when I prepared myself for the work, the Red Lady, she sat at the end of my bed and she smiled, and I knew. I knew you were more than a soul forged. You were her cleric. You're very welcome. She kind of settles back a bit.
I don't know what to do.
Well, when I don't know what to do, I just go for a walk in the forest.
What forest?
It's one just outside Rorstad. Won't take you long to get there. Real nice. Real colourful leaves and nice brown tree bark. You know, a lot of the people around here prefer the more crafted, but it's nice. Like a step out of reality. Gives you some fresh air to breathe.
Thank you. Again.
And thank you. It's nice to have been able to be in your presence. I've never met a cleric of the Red Lady. You're truly blessed.
I know. I have a lot left to do, I think. I don't know if you... Thank you. And I'm going to turn and leave the room.
Okay. As you walk out the door, you appear at the edge of Rorstad. There are no walls that are around Rorstad. Everyone's welcome. They work on we're the greatest crafters in the world. If you're coming here, you want our wares. We don't want you to feel threatened, is their sort of ethos. Not that you've got to get through the rest of Ravenholm to get there, but...
Well...
and you're on the edge of Rorstad. You look behind you and you see the Stern Light Forge in the distance, and they're the middle of the city and its grand presence. And the rest of the city is lovely, it's wonderful, it's Ravenholm. And then you look where the path ahead of you is. You see a beautiful forest, emerald leaves, deep dark brown tree trunks, a couple of pathways leading into it.
Do I know anything about this forest?
There's plenty of forest in Ravenholm. You may or may not have walked a forest nearby when you came, but your majority of time spent here was probably due to your soul forgedness and less touristy. But I mean, it is, as Celia described, it is a beautiful forest.
I'm going to sit just outside the forest.
Okay.
And I'm going to pray, meditate, whichever way you want to look at it. And I want to say, I could use some guidance. I don't know where I am. I don't know if this is where I should be going.
A dark feathered bird flies overhead with red eyes and drops in front of you a pink rose quartz with a Viconian rune etched into it. And when you pick it up, as you feel that you must, you feel a warmth and passion and heat as you did that day that Althea nearly went nuclear in Clay Eye.
Good enough. And I'll stand up again. And I'm going to hold on to the quartz, see if I can keep hold of it. I'll walk through the forest.
Althea. You good? I'm going to make you talk a little bit now, but we'll get through it together.
That's fine.
You see Remy, grandfather Remy, loads of nippers running around, him and his pal, arm in arm, walking through the town of Buxy Bay. It's pretty chill these days, no massive parties going on. Seems to be a bit more stereotypically port town, but bigger, and there's a lot more wealth gone through it. You still see the great guild hall of Ectelio, and you can hear the music playing out from it, and it does have that etherealness to it of similar how Faye's experience, where it catches up, but it is nostalgic to a degree, more so because of the age of Remy rather than any time you spent there.
Mm.
Couple of the children run up to you, and they're just running around you, and you felt this before, you've had this sort of attention before outside the arenas when young ones are coming up, they're staring up at you, you're tall, strong, just shorter than a Viconian, and they're loving it, and they're like, wow, oh, cool, and they're like reaching towards your shield and stuff like this, and just in absolute kid in a candy shop around this great arena warrior that's running around them. What would you try to do or like to do, or is there anything you would try and like to do?
I would probably has Remy noticed me? Is there anyone else that's paying me any attention other than the children?
Remy is sat down with this gentleman on a bench and is kind of talking to each other. Notices you, obviously watching where the children went. Big grandfather smile, waves over.
I'm going to sort of put my hand up and wave, but not look too sure. And I'll start to walk over.
Yeah. They make space for you on the bench, and Remy kind of mouths a few words, and they catch up. Oh, Althea, so I'm glad you got my invite. And then it speeds up a little bit quicker, and then it feels like Remy kind of steps into the room. Still, you can see easy 40 decades since. The beard is pure grey, like white wishes it were there. The hair is long, tied back. I mean, looks like Remy. I mean, you've known Remy since you were dots. And Remy just stares at you in like pure admiration and joy and love just to see you in front of him, and he holds your hands. Oh, you've looked after yourself, haven't you? You don't look a day over arena age.
I'm not. I haven't looked after myself. This isn't. We're too old.
I mean, I agree. I'd much prefer to be a whippersnapper again. These grandkids are a handful.
How long's it been since we've seen each other? To you?
Well, you last for a month ago, so passing of a moon.
Did I leave? Did I go for a time? Was I away?
Yeah, you travel around. It's, your name's sung, the Lioness, Queen of the Sands, the Raging Princess. You've never liked that one.
No, I don't think I would. But I'm not. This can't be. I died to save a friend, and that wasn't that long ago. And before that, it definitely wasn't that long ago that I saw you. So you can't be this old. I don't understand what's happened, Remy.
That's just a story, Althea. Dying to save a friend. Well, it brought in, fans came and they threw gold and offerings.
It's not a story, it happened. We went to Stonheim and we had to put our souls back together, but that wasn't that long ago. I don't understand. I'm glad that you're happy and I'm glad that you're safe, but I don't get it. This is half a century too far ahead. I don't understand.
It's the perfect place to stop.
Stop what?
Just stop. Just look around. If you don't want to fight anymore, you don't have to. If you want to come here, stay with me and the grandkids. Teach them to fight. They'd love to hear the tales of Stonheim and your friends.
It's not a story. I'm not done fighting. I don't understand what's happened, but I'm not staying here. This isn't real, Remy.
What else can you do? How many more pages do you need?
I don't know.
You've
still
won
don't understand.
everything. You're the Queen of the Sands. No one in Atoria has ever stood against the Lioness and won.
Well, I'm sure that'll still be the future, even if this isn't real. That bit I believe. But no, I don't know what's happened. I know that I had a feeling that I was going somewhere when we were done in Stonheim, but I don't think I ended up where I wanted to go. This isn't where I want to be. I wanted to be with you, but at the right time, not too far ahead in the future, or wherever we are.
Well, it's up to you. You can always reread the book up to here.
What book?
Our book. Your book. Just gestures towards the kids. Their book.
How many are these? All yours?
Yeah. They're children from looked after them for generations. There was an issue in Clay Eye a few years ago. few of the
How
children.
many years ago?
Around when you went to the bigger arenas in the capital. 40 years, maybe 50 years.
No, that was less than a year ago, Remy.
Don't think you should be drinking when you're not. Are you alright, Althea?
No, I'm not. But I'm not the one that's wrong. This situation is wrong. And she's going to stand up. And sort of look around.
You see Buxy Bay. You see folk in and out of shops. All stopped. The port town, everything. Kids climbing up whatever they can. Animals running around barking. It's a hell of a port town even now. Just all stopped. And all of them are staring at you. The entire town just stopped. All staring at you. Seems to lose its colour. As if ink was being watered down again and again and again. But the one thing that stands out, that pops, is a cluster of woodland just beyond Buxy Bay on the north side, with emerald green leaves and deep brown trunks. And stood at the edge of the forest is a very young Althea, maybe 8 years old. She's just in a tunic. She's got the gladius that you trained with, sharp enough to hurt, but you preferred bludgeoning them anyway. More of a cub than the true lioness that you will come. She's just stood, proud, barefoot, tunic, bit of rope tied round her waist. Give her that nice V. You can already start seeing the thickness applying to her muscles as, you know, even at a young age you were training. She's just stood there. Golden eyes.
I'm gonna take Remy's hand. If I can, like, touch him, does it feel normal?
It's cold, but it does feel flesh.
I'm gonna give it a kiss. Give his hand a kiss and just say that I hope, in a way, that this is real, because I hope you end up this happy. But I know that it's not real for right now. And I hope that I do genuinely get to see you at this point in your life. But maybe a few centuries from now.
As you
A few
walk
decades, sorry, not centuries. Yeah. And then I'll turn and start to walk towards the young version of me.
You just hear Remy say, "You've never needed hope before. I hope you don't rely on it now." And you hear him laugh at his own words. And you head up towards the little girl. As you get towards her, she kind of sticks her chest out, shoulders back, pulls the sword out, aims it at you. Are you up, biggin? Where are you going?
I was hoping you were going to tell me. Where should I be going?
Well, you look like you're a fighter. She kind of looks you up and down. Cheeks are a bit chubby, you know what I mean? Bit short. Bear in mind you're like 3 feet taller than. You should go somewhere where you can fight. That's what I'd say. That's where I'm going.
I know. I've fought everywhere, but I think I'd like to fight for now. I'm just going to look at the forest kind of behind her.
You see a forest, and it gets thicker and deeper as you look into it. But you hear cheers of the crowd. She reacts to them as well. You know they're probably cheering for me, right?
Most definitely.
Not old people like you.
Are you coming?
Are you there? It's not that I'm scared. I just prefer to fight on the sand, not on the soil. Soil's too soft. Like gritty stuff beneath my feet. If you want to go fight on the soft stuff, that's up to you.
Do I know that it's me? Like, it's the young version of me?
Oh yeah, you're fully aware.
Okay, that's just say, like, you'll have plenty of time for fighting on the sand. And I'll
Got
sort of
any
pat her on.
as you pat around, she looks at fuck you, doing. You got any cool nicknames I could take with me onto the sands? I've been thinking about going as like the bear. Or like...
The lioness is what people will choose for you. But as soon as people start calling you a princess of any kind of sand or arena, just don't allow it.
Good night, my darling. Princess! I will kill many if they call me princess.
Good. I hope that one stays in the future past.
And I hope you'll get taller. Well, enjoy your soft fighting. I'm going to go kill me a dragon. She starts walking into Bugsy Bay.
What's the dragon?
You just hear her going, lioness. I'm a lioness. Brah.
I'll just walk into the forest.
Cool.
Walk towards the cheers.
Velk. 3 hours ago, you were telling a story. As you told the story in the unveil of the great heroes. Yeah, it's a very over 18s story. You as you told that story and you got through the great paladin of the blood dragon, halberd gets thrown, Orlov takes it. The next few parts involved this great paladin pulling their shield to the front and protecting themselves, and it gets knocked out of their hands and it lands at Orlov's feet. He picks it up and he's now stood with you, halberd and shield. What's next, Tumbleword? I need a few more chapters out here.
I'm trying. My mind is flickering with the pages that once turned. I can't. There is something stopping. Time of never before. Entities have messed with this. Never. Time of legend, time of darkness. This place where war happened over and over. The crumbling of nations. Where we are now. No entity has ever. You have to fight. I have to fight it. I have to draw them together. I have to. What can I use? Velouche. Entertainment.
You see Orlov shaking his head.
I will dance.
Hey,
I will sing. No. More. Kavakin, leveler of mountains. Bravery. Yes. But not strong enough. Perhaps more. Perhaps more. Eldros Temrin. Through power, we should do this. No.
As you're doing this, Velk, Orlov's backing off. As you're doing this, you...
Trying, Orlov. I'm trying.
Pages of parchment just fly off around you. Not necessarily from your book, just appearing around you like a flock of ravens, getting torn apart. Ink flying left, right and centre. The parchment itself turning to ash, very much as your friends have seen when you rest upon an evening. There is a whirlwind of torn page, flicked ink. Flinked.
Mind is frantic. My mind is frantic. I can't. Orlov, we have to draw them together. This place of stories, an epicenter. Might, the crumbling of cruel. You, standing, reforming it, starting what now is cruel. place of stories, a place of legends and myth, that which draws everything together, that which gives purpose. The fight goes on. Pool formed among the ashes of what Reinhardt once destroyed and tore apart.
All
Demons
looks
and
about all
celestials.
around you and sees it all just in your illusionary way when you're summoning them and reenacting everything as you write it. As words just leave your mouth, you see these illusions appear, the rising and destruction of buildings, demons and warriors and archfey and paladins and magically gifted arcane wielders all clashing together around you silently in this whirlwind of parchment and ash.
Yes. It took your might. You stood up at the time. You brought it together again. It was everything. The Fae that was torn down by the dwarf. All which stood before, all which stands now. The story that is there. You brought it together. This place. You formed it. Now I need it. It has to be more. I have to think of something. A bit of magic, perhaps. A bit of magic. We have to draw them together. Use your story. Crew was built on the tales.
What was
on
here
the
before?
Stories that which was torn apart.
Orlov steps closer towards you and he takes a knee because he's slightly larger than yourself. Puts
These
a hand on
lands-
your shoulder. What was here before, Tumblewort?
These lands. It all
Before
began
Cruel.
before Cruel.
What grew?
The glade. That's it, Olaf. The glade that was here. This epicenter. This place of everything. Stories, tales, all of it. That place of power. That's where it all was. That which was always drawn.
Trees start to appear around you.
We can use that, Olaf. Your tale. You brought it all, but it was there before.
But it's not the before, Tumblewort.
But it's the now.
It's the now.
We need it.
Speak of your friends.
Form it so they were drawn together. And we will fight back against this entity. To stop the story. Stop their stories. Stop all stories.
Tell me of the
Fights.
druid.
The druid. The dark fae. Stalking from the forests. Curious. Being. Wanting to see more. Wanting to see the world. That is the druid.
Rhea, you hear a very familiar voice on the wind. One that's usually accompanied with a smiling face and not a horrible little dickhead with a shadow feint. But there is a moment of sadness as you hear the voice, for there is pain in it. There is confusion and a almost lost vibe to it, and it's reaching for you, like when you're, if you lose your dog in the long grass on your shout and you have a bit of a panic moment and then they just come flying out like everything's normal and then you give them a slap. But you have that moment of urgency, I have to follow, and there is burnt paper in the air, flickering, as if a great forest fire miles and miles away, and the ash of that fire is floating beyond you, and it is parchment burning. And as you touch the barks, the tree bark, and take your hand away, there is ink, dark red ink on each one. And you make your way through the forest, and you see a very tall, broad tavern keeper with a massive halberd, a grey iron shield with a bleeding, bloody dragon on the front of it. And you see Velk, your gnomish, grey-haired friend, white moustache, his book about him, and whirlwinding around him, burnt parchment and ink mixed.
The storyteller's mind starts to find purpose. It's working.
Tell me of the warrior of the sands.
The sands, yes. The warrior of the sands, stepping forward into the arena, caring not for title, just for purpose, the drive within to entertain, to fight for glory. And that battle, the storyteller's mind flickers to the arenas. She stands tall and mighty, inspired.
Althea, you hear a very familiar voice of Felk Tumblewort, your gnomish friend, white hair moustache, but you hear it in a way you were announced to the arena. And come into the sands, the lioness, echoing all about you. But you hear that volume build from Velk. You start running, shield in hand, sword, up the banks of the trees that now mimic the walls that you would run, the tunnels you would run up the slight ramp into the sands. The trees give way and the emerald green leaves give way to open up to brightness and what you'd normally expect to be an arena, roaring your name, ready for the great fight. And you see across the way your friend Rhea, the dark fae you met not so long ago, who took the poison alongside of you to go get your friend Bjorn. And you see Velk, as you remember him. No smile, urgency, panic, a whirlwind of parchment and ink.
Gonna run, like keep running and run to Rhea's side and almost stop a bit too late and like grab her, and then like it's not like a rugby tackle, but she just stops that little bit too late and kind of crashes into her, and then notices Velk and
Orlov raises his hand to you two and kind of just gestures. Speak to me of the Winter Rose and the wielder of the Blades of Shadows.
The storyteller's mind settles. Still, a quiet image, and blossoms begin to fall from the sky. An entity not from perhaps where they think they are, but from where they are from indeed. A blade, a cut, a purpose, a walk. An entity that seeks for more, curious, looking for more, seeking out those, well, a story, a drive, that which they are, more about them. Those blossoms. There's more to them than even they know. They will find them. They'll find that. Their purpose, they need it. That is still the story to be told.
You hear the voice, Etheria, of a familiar friend, of Velk, your gnomish little friend, Smiler, some people call him. And as you hear it and you react, you look around the forest. Cherry blossom leaves start to fall, mingled in with the ash and parchment. And a dragonborn warrior stood before you, scales of sapphire, long, almost dreadlock-styled hair, but similar to yourself where the crystal makes the hair, coming down these chunks of sapphire intertwined with one another, almost bunched and tied. Lean, moves swiftly like yourself. Pulls a shadow of mist, white smoke wrapping around the blade. A opposite of your own black shadow blade. Your magics draw into the blade as you hold it up ready. The sapphire warrior in front of you holds their blade ready. Their kimono is similar design to yourself, but the cherry blossom is replaced by the coloration of sapphire blossoms. You move, they move. You strike, they parry. They strike, you parry. You step back. You hear the voice of Velk, the story they're telling of the Winter Rose, the Blossom Warrior, the wielder of the Shadow Blade, searching for purpose on their walk. You clash again. Sparks from blades, mist and shadow, competing for presence in the now. When you cast your magics normally, you pull from the shadow realm. There's a source of magic there, but that for some reason is akin to your bloodline. And you pull on it and you use it. But this sapphire warrior before you, your colour stays. The pinkness remains. And the sapphire warrior stays vibrant, and you stay vibrant. And and you clash together, back and forth, back and forth. And on the final words of Velk, the Sapphire Warrior moves their arms slightly high enough to allow you to make that killing blow. And as you step forward and your blade comes across the scales, you perfectly do nothing more than a millimetre cut into their scales to show that you've won the fight. And when you look over your shoulder, there's a katana in the ground made of mist, exact replica of your own, shadow and mist. Do you take it, or do you walk towards the voice? Or both, it's your choice. You're on mute, and my lip reading ain't as good as it used to be.
I take the blade, and is Bjorn still with me?
No.
I scream in my mind, faster Bjorn.
You hear nothing, Bjorn.
And I run and misty step towards the voice.
As you run and misty step, Althea and Rhea, you see coming out of the air, just apparating, a pink rose quartz dragonborn sorcerer wielding 2 katanas, one of mist, one of shadow, in a stance, ready to defend, attack, whatever is necessary. Etheria, you see Rhea. Althea, you see the whirlwind of ink and parchment around Velk, and you see a massive tavern keeper grey orc with a halberd, an iron shield with a blood dragon on it.
Seeing the drawn weapons before realising who it is, I'll sort of turn in a protective stance in front of Rhea with my shield, and then see that it's Etheria and sort of sag a little bit, like fuck.
Olaf steps, but remains with hand on Velk, and takes one step slightly just to almost show presence to you all. We're nearly there. Please, give the word master time. Tumbleword. I need the divine one.
Storyteller's mind focuses. It's working. The words, they're drawing them together. It'll take more. It'll take, the characters call it magic, but I can still do this. I think a red cloak. Yes. More purpose yet to be had. Sorrow and misery. Purpose born out of sorrow and misery, but there's more. More words yet to be told. Compassion. More love than anything. There is more to give. There is sorrow given will. More to go forward with, to teach the world, to teach, to show the world more, driven by that heart, by that following the cloak, the crimson, the red is the cloak.
Fizz,
That's it.
you hear the words of a familiar friend. In front of you, there are several younglings, all wearing red cloaks, running through the forest, away from you. You didn't see them before. They're running away. You turn behind you, and there is a presence, dark, consuming, bloody, racing after you and those younglings through this forest. The emerald leaves turn into ruby red, and then drip, drip, red ink falling from the leaves to the ground. And you chase and you chase, and you see a flock of black-feathered birds, and the first thing that remind you of is Rhea, and the bond that you two have created over a while now. You've been there, and there is that feeling that Rhea brings out in you of the memories that were taken from you that could have been. And all the red cloaks turn to black feathered ones. You see small little horns popping out of the back of their heads, replicating the ones upon Rhea's head. And they all run together, bump into each other, and as they bump into each other, there's less and less of them, as if they're becoming one. And they're just ahead of you as you race, and you can feel it almost flicking at the back of you, and the hairs on your neck flicking up as this bloody presence beats down on you. You burst through the tree line. You don't see the youngling you were chasing, but you do see Rhea, Althea, and Etheria, a massive grey orc, and Velk, your gnomish friend with grey hair.
As I burst through the trees, then I'll go, "Oh, good."
Breya just sprints it straight to fucking FaZe and just bear hugs her. Not in the shape of bear.
You all see Orlov stumble and take a knee, and is now almost using Velk to keep themselves standing. One more Tumbleword. Bring me vengeance. And Orlov hits the floor and becomes ash and parchment.
A single tear drops down the storyteller's face as sorrow turns to compassion. Then the storyteller's face solidifies somewhat as vengeance creeps in. A darkness somewhat, with light within. A drive, a heartbeat. That which must be done. That which has been named. That which has been fated to have vengeance enacted upon them, and a being that stalks their prey. Wings beat. There is more to this story to be had. That is what will drive us. This being, this hunter, that which will deliver, that which is ever learning, ever growing, ever realizing their potential, that which is finding themselves, driving home their purpose, that which will one day, its story still to be told, enact that vengeance, the being that stalks.
Bjorn, you'll be surprised to hear a familiar voice, a friendly one, of your good friend Velk Tumbleword. Etheria's gone, maybe lost a tree or two behind. You can't really remember how long it's been since you last saw them in this forest. It is peaceful, beautiful. Maybe they've gone for a walk. Up on a branch, you see a 3-foot monkey eating a peach, dressed in loose trousers. It's kind of humming a song, just waving at you.
Waves back.
The smile on their face disappears, and they go grey, like as if petrified, and fall from the tree, and in mid-air, poof, burnt ash and parchment. You run over to where they were, forwards. You hear in the leaves next to you, you look across, see a goblin, a couple of knives, bit of a cocky walk, tip of the hat towards you. You go over to meet your friend Sketch. And he trips, hits the ground. Poof. Burnt ash, parchment. You look around now. It's quiet. Still hear the voice of Velk in the air, louder that way. There's no sign of Etheria. You walk, the emerald leaves, the deep brown trunks of ears. It's gravy time. I need to get that changed. In front of you is the small boy you met in Clay Eye, with the daft moustache. A character you only met for a mere moment. They step aside and just let you go. They don't turn into ash or parchment. But when you look back to say thank you for them letting you pass on the walkway, they're gone. Stood on the pathway in front of you is Krytor, 3'3", badass little shadow demon, next to him, hood up, staring at you. The green of the leaves disappears, nothing but grey ash. The bark of the trees, decayed, petrified. Nothing but shadows and gloom for miles and miles and miles. The voice of Velk in the air, speaking of your purpose and your heart and your passion to drive forwards. And Krytel stood there, axe in hand, hood up, just see his face in the dark tash. Not done yet, are you?
I do not believe so, no.
If you die again, you failed.
I have learned from my mistakes. It was a hard lesson. I feel like I am missing something. And I touch my chest where my heartbeat should be.
Krytel walks towards you. And as if you almost don't see it happen, but the ground kind of moves with him so he can come up eye to eye. And he puts his hand on your chest. You've got 4 heartbeats. Don't rely on one.
I have learned my lesson.
I know. Costo chose you, not me. I'm just your story. And just leans back and lets himself fall and turn into ash, parchment burnt. And as you watch it and you happen, you take a breath and you look up. You see Faze, Rhea, Etheria and Althea. And a whirlwind that has now got stronger. This whirlwind is of blood, burnt parchment, ink, dark feathers, golden light flicking in between, tornadoing around Velk. Velk is erratic and skittish, looking around as if looking for a dropped pen or a missing page, and having those mad moments. The tornado gets thicker and thicker till you can't see Velk. It consumes Velk. The pages, the blood, the ink, the black feathers, the golden light of Althea. It drops. There's no sign of Velk Tumbleward. There is just a moment of cold, white light. Give me a moment. You all see each other. Some of you are hugging, others are nodding. You're back together. You still feel there is something, you more so, beyond. You're not quite at the end of this journey that has taken you to the realms of death, of lost souls, broken souls, souls bringing themselves back together, fractures that have been fixed, or fractures so deep, never to be repaired. You still feel there's more pages. Velk wasn't wrong. You know now that, as the narrator, you need to give. Your vision blurs. This is for all of you. Colours start to overwhelm, sprawling like kaleidoscopic patterns in front of you. You get a bit of a rushing sensation when you hold your head out of a car when it's driving down the motorway. Please don't do this at home. You then feel as if you're plucked from the ground. You kind of almost, again, that zero gravity type feeling. You float, hang in the air, rush towards the sky, rush towards the ground as if you're being pulled left and right. You can hear howls of creatures, of sounds, beasts, words being uttered, hundreds, thousands of them, celestial, elven, fiendish, dwarfish, common, the dark fae, the light fae, the summer fae, every language possible. These words flick past you. You try to make them out. You climb higher and higher, this colourful vortex all around you. And then all of the colour immediately gets pulled downwards, almost to a pinpoint, on the ground beneath you. And you all rush towards it. A bright white colour seeping into its place. And as that colour is drawn downwards, almost like a laser focus to it, you see jet black droplets of ink dropping down, downward and downward. Hits a blank canvas, splashing out and creating these almost butterfly effect, sort of wings, like stencil template types that have been placed and ink thrown at them, giving a chaotic piece of art. You all fall through it, fall through this parchment, this canvas, the ink splashing all about you. Your vision goes completely dark. And out of nowhere in front of you, or at least you think it to be in front of you, you see small sparks of swirling colours. The spoken words that you heard before pulsate this time. You can hear all of them. Womb forest, womb tower, womb hero, etc., etc. All the stories you've heard around fires, in taverns, making up yourself, reading textbooks and scriptures. You hear these key words that get mentioned all the time, flowing around you in all these different languages. These colourful mixes, they get closer and closer. They stretch out, reach out at you as you're all in this strange void. And you can feel them grabbing at you, and you look and you see these rainbow-like tendrils pulling all around you like threads. Again, your vision blurs. You feel your backs press against something, and you realise that you're all laying down. And above you is a sky, blissfully blue, as perfect a blue as can be. You look around you and you see each of your companions. The warrior of the sands, Althea. The winter rose, Etheria. The dark cleric that is both made of light and something else, phase. You see Rhea, the brightest darkness there is. And you see Bjorn, wielder of vengeance. You feel grass around you. There's a translucentness to the green colour, each blade flecked with black ink running down it, veins of something. Your vision again distorts as if you're looking through a telescope. The flecks of black are words and symbols of the languages you've been hearing. All of you are kind of trying to rub at your eyes and adjust yourselves. You lay in a field, pushing yourselves to sit in positions, looking around at each other. No one felt the need to speak a word, just witnessing. Where's Velk? No one sees Velk. Across the field, seems so far away, yet almost touchable if you were to reach out. You see a castle. Seems to stretch for miles and miles. The turrets are spiralling high into the sky. The walls are made of large stonework chunks of mountain put together to create this bastion. But there is a shimmer to it, in a hue of colours, like dark blues, greens, pinks and oranges. The forest night, the nebula of the sky, the aurora in the Viconian mountains. It is beautiful, and it seems that those who were responsible for this castle have captured the colours of life, of death, of existence, and they shimmer across the stonework. It feels like daytime, but there's no sun. Beyond the grass of where you're all sitting, there is a path nearby, and it seems to stretch towards a large open portcullis at the front of this castle. You look at the path. You focus on it. And you notice, or at least think you noticed, is the castle getting closer to you, or are you going closer to the castle? Whichever it may be, within a heartbeat or two, you are stood before the castle, or sat. You notice a figure, sat in the grass, just relaxing, stands up, looks at you all, and standing roughly 3 feet too, with ruffled yellowish fur, white highlights on the tips of his ears, and around his paws there are light blue patches of fur with pink stripes scattered about his body, frizzy green and pink hair, eccentric oranges all over his elaborate and fancy looking clothes with a light pink trim. And you see an pseudo-dragon, which seems to be made up of a blue ice. The scales, the way they are, as if plucked from a glacier and given life, gracefully gliding around whoever it is at the front of this castle. And that's where we're going to leave the session. So yeah, still dead.
Yeah, well.
Thank you. We're going to call it there. Oof. So, we're still going. That's good. So there will be a session 31. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's gravy time. Thank you for the follow. It's much appreciated. Please tune in. We will be back next Monday with session 31 of When Glory's Not Enough. As per chats, I love you, the bits, and I didn't get to use Martin's bits, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say. Our friendship's gone places, Martin. But yes, it's been great. Thank you very much. It's so cool to have folks chatting. It's so cool to have folks along with the stories. We're going to keep telling them. If you do enjoy it, follow, all that good stuff. Or if you know someone that will enjoy it, let them know. And hopefully, they can chip in as well. But yeah, thank you very much. Players, it's been great. Thank you very much for giving each other the time to have your own moments of spotlight. It was very cool. You were very great to interact with individually, which is good. Otherwise, we'd be
Are you streaming tomorrow?
I will have to confirm.
Join the Discord and find out.
Yeah.
Watch this space.
Yeah. Join the Discord. We should be streaming tomorrow with our Tuesday campaign, Fables Among Titans. We have a Spelljammer campaign on a Wednesday, which is dungeon mastered by Ricardo of the Dice of the Beholder. Proper good, does actual voices. But yeah, got a lot of time for Rich. Go check him out. Brilliant entertainment on a Wednesday. And if you're lucky enough to be watching on a Sunday, you can get to check out Chronicles of Needham, also dungeon mastered by Ricardo.
On the days when it runs.
Yes, a professional.
We will let you know.
Voice actor.
To be determined.
If I PayPal you £1, you're a professional.
You're a professional voice actor.
But yes,
It's okay, AD. I'll give him a quid.
nice one, nice. I'll give him a pounding. So thanks for watching, and for now, and thank you, Ree, for coming in with your bronchitis. It was beautiful.
It's okay.
The sexy voice, I love it.
It's okay.
For now, so good night, players.
Night,
Night,
players.
players.
Take care, folks. We'll be back soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.